If you're anything like me, you've probably loaded up Monster Hunter World, getting ready for Wilds at the end of Feb. Now, if you are one of these new players, what you want to do is actually be careful, because if you go to your equipment, you're going to have your starting gear. As you can see here, we have the leather headgear, leather mail, leather gloves, leather belts and stuff, and this is the piece of gear that we are using. However, when you go to your inventory, you'll notice that you have chainmail and guardian. Now, you need to be careful about using the guardian gear, because this is mainly for people who want to catch up to the DLC. So essentially veterans who just wanted to fly through the base campaign and then get to the DLC as fast as possible on a new character, or just in general for people trying to catch up to their friends for whatever reason. Now, if you are someone who's playing World to try and get ready for Wilds, you need to basically not use Guardian Helm at all. And the reason for this is, if we have a look at the stats, you're going to start the game with leather or chainmail, and you can see here that each piece will give us 2 defense and like 2 in fire and whatever other resistances. In this case, we have the leather headgear. It gives us 2 defense and 2 fire. Now, if we go to leather mail, you can see there we get another 2 defense and another 2 fire. And the same with leather gloves, leather belt, and also the leather trousers. Now, in total, this means we'll have a total of 10 defense and 10 fire resistance while playing through the start of the game using our leather gear. Now, if we start the game with Guardian, you can see here that this piece is a level 1 rarity 6 piece of gear with 50 defense and resistances in multiple different elements. Now, that goes for the same for the chest piece, again, another 50 defense. The arm piece, again, another 50. The waist bit, another 50. And the greaves are another 50 as well, giving us a total of 250 defense instead of the 10 defense. Now, when you're playing through World, you're meant to be farming monsters and defeating monsters and learning how to beat these monsters while playing through the game and going through the campaign. And as you do that, you're going to get pieces of their parts, and you're going to use those parts to create gear and start getting better equipment to take on higher level monsters. That way, the game's going to feel like you're actually progressing through, and monsters are going to increase with difficulty. Now, if you use this Guardian armor, you are going to fly through the base game entirely. Everything's going to feel like a bit of wet lettuce hitting your face. Nothing's going to hurt because you have such high defense. You're going to be sat there wondering, oh, why am I even bothering? This game's so easy. And then you're going to come into Monster Hunter Wild, and you're going to get absolutely pooped on because you're like, what the hell? This is the 3rd monster. It's so difficult. Why aren't I just beating this like I did in the previous game? And that's because you had overpowered armor helping you. You see what I'm saying? So you should actually go and play the game how it was meant to be. Use the leather trousers, use the chainmail trousers, and then slowly upgrade to whatever you want to do next. Like here, for example, I've got the Hunter's Greaves because I crafted this from monster parts. So that's what you should be doing. So we come over to the smithy. We can see here that we have leather chainmail, Hunter's Bone, Keston, Jagras, Kulu, Harvest, and Gala suits. Now you can ignore these bottom 2 because they are from events. However, as you can see here, if we go through the game, we're going to start off with leather or chainmail gear. And we're going to start working our way up through the Hunters, then through the Bone, and then through the Kestodon, the Jagras gear, and the Kulu. Now, this is going to be the exact same as you're going to do in Wilds as well. You're going to start killing monsters, getting their parts, and creating armor for the next monster you're coming up against, or for the resistances you need. Now, Monster Hunter was never meant to be played with some overpowered armor, and this doesn't even just apply to the armor either. If we come along to the weapons, for example, we use the sword and shield, you can see here that we have the Hunter's Knife, which is your starting gear with ore that you're going to need to use ore to create. And then you've got the Monster Small Bones as well, which are also going to create the bone weapons. But you're going to notice that you can pick between Defender weapons as well. Now, the Defender weapons are the weapon equivalent of the Defender armor. This is the overpowered stuff that they give you to fly through the game. Don't use this either, because you're going to be walloping the monsters for way more damage than you ever should by using the basic attacks. Now, if we look here, for example, if we use the Hunter's Knife, we do 112 damage per hit. If we look at the Defender War Hatchet here, we'll do 182. Now, you might not think that that's a very big difference, but obviously it kind of is, because it's like 60 damage or 70 damage. And that's going to add up. Every time you hit the monster, that's an extra 70 damage just based on that attack alone, right? But then you notice here, the Defender War Hatchet has 150 blast elemental damage as well. So you're not just doing the extra 70 damage every time you do a hit, you're also doing 150 elemental blast damage on top of that, which is why you are flying through the game. If you do this and play like this, guys, you are not going to learn how to play Monster Hunter, you're not going to be prepared for when Wild actually drops, and you're going to be getting absolutely pooped on by early game monsters because you just are not prepared to play the game how you're meant to play it. Trust me when I say this, you're going to have a couple of demos to practice. Please, 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 make sure you're playing the game how it's meant to be played if you are jumping into World for the first time, to start practicing and getting used to the game mechanics before Wilds drops in Feb. Anyway guys, I hope this video did help you, and if it did, please click the like button below and subscribe for more Monster Hunter World videos in the future until we finally get Wilds, which then I'll be covering that. Anyway guys, I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you have a great day.